I want to welcome you to our beginning Pilates class. I like to use my ball for beginning Pilates class, but if you don't have a ball, I would grab a small pillow or even roll up a towel, something you can either place underneath your back or between your knees. I find it's easier when you're teaching beginning Pilates to start with the ball because some of the movements are actually easier to do. This class is pretty much meant for anybody that is a senior, postpartum, just has a weak core that you need to strengthen safely. Maybe you have some lower back issues. I personally have lupus and psoriatic arthritis. I'm 59 years old, so I have to work through some discomfort and pain in my joints, and I find Pilates is just a great way to do that. If you're not sure, watch this video first. See if you like this, if this is going to be for you first. And we're going to work through everything very slowly. This will be the first of many videos I'm going to do. So don't feel like this is all that there is to it. There's going to be a lot more we're going to add on. We're going to kind of stack up some moves and add some different things to it. So first thing I want you to do is decide to do our breath work is, do you want to sit in a cross-legged position or would you prefer to be on your back? So I'm going to sit up just so I can talk to you a little bit more clearly. Feel free to lay on your back with your legs in a bent position like this and the ball just between your knees, just for comfort, and hands to your sides. So as I work through your breath work, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to relax your shoulders. And if you're sitting up tall with me, I want the chest lifted, shoulders down. And we're gonna breathe towards our belly. So take a full breath in. And as you exhale, just de-stress. Make sure you're relaxing your hands. Sometimes if you've had a stressful day, you'll be actually clenching your fists and not know it. We're just gonna continue to take full cleansing breaths. Again, about relaxing the shoulders by keeping the chest lifted. If you're lying on your back on the floor, you're actually feeling your belly lift up against gravity. And then just think of just sinking down into that mat as you exhale. Usually on the back is my preferred position. And again, just for purposes of this video, I'm just gonna do it upright. Now let's do that one more time, and then we're gonna work into what we call your hot breath. I'm going to try and go over a lot of the things you'll hear in a traditional Pilates class and make sure we break them down and you understand why we're doing them. So I want you to place your hands on your rib cage, whether you're on your back or sitting up tall with me. And as you take that breath in, I want you to expand the ribs east to west. Now start to exhale, keeping your jaw relaxed, but exhale all the air out like you're fogging up a piece of glass with your breath. Feel that squeeze through the abdomen. Rest for a moment. Sometimes you feel like you have to swallow. Let's do that 4 more times. Full breath in, expand. And exhale. Now as you continue to take those full breaths in, here's something else I want you to think about. When you're getting the rest of that air out, your diaphragm is fully contracted on that exhale, and then your abdominals are coming up and they're pushing that diaphragm up. They're getting the last third of that lung volume out. So I think you're wringing out the towel. Let's do 2 more of those full breaths. Relax those shoulders. Good, and now just relax. Now I'm going to take everybody onto your back. So if you're on your back, stay there. If not, let's all join. So you want your feet about hip width apart. First thing we're going to go over is, what is a pelvic tilt? So just picture something on your belly like a full bowl of soup, and you're going to spill the soup, tilting your pelvis towards you. And then if you tilt it this way, you're spilling the soup out onto your hips. So a neutral spine is where we don't spill any soup. The back is not completely flat, but it's not arched. So practice just rocking that pelvis, drawing the navel to the base of the spine, and then bringing the tailbone back so you have an arch in the back. So again, just practice pelvic tilt. Now here's what's called our imprint. When those vertebrae are digging into that mat, you want to make sure you're keeping your shoulders relaxed. And just keep your hands right there on your pelvis. Feel the abdominals as you're pulling in. This is engaging the deepest core muscles. Exhale. Inhale, release. Now this time, let's squeeze into the ball. That's going to get even more of those pelvic floor muscles. And release. Exhale, shoulders relax, squeeze, and release. Now, while you're doing this, if you're having any issues in your neck, if your neck is excessively bent, I want you to pause the video and I want you to go grab yourself a pillow and get your head up a little bit higher where you're comfortable. At any time during this video, if you feel like you need to pause it, take a second, pause the video. Now we're gonna stay in that imprinted position. I want you to keep your pelvis tilted, keep those vertebrae in the mat, and keep your abdominals engaged. If you've got shoulder issues, I'm gonna have you face your palms towards each other, otherwise palms facing the ceiling. Find your comfortable range of motion, and without any other movement right now, I just want you to practice reaching overhead and then through those fingertips. Inhale. Now I'm gonna add a lift onto that, coming up, squeezing into that ball, and then coming down slow and controlled, releasing the ball with the inner thighs. Exhale, squeeze, reach. Inhale, relax. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release. Exhale. So here's where that hot breath comes in. You're gonna make that H sound, that, and then come down slow. Exhale, lift. Inhale, down. Exhale, or you're still squeezing that ball. This is also where that pillow behind your head can come in handy. You're not going as far down. You're keeping your neck neutral, so just a little space between the chin and the chest. And we're just gonna relax down right there. Now you've just found out whether or not you should lift your head up or down. And it's okay to take breaks. If you did a couple, it was fine, but take breaks as you need to. Now working through a bridge, we wanna make sure our feet are hip width apart, and you're gonna lift your hips up off the floor, contracting those glutes, squeezing until you feel a nice stretch. You're gonna feel the pressure on the shoulder blade. Now we're gonna articulate the spine, coming down one vertebrae at a time, like a snake. When you feel the glutes release, take a deep breath in, exhale, lift back up. Now let's go and just squeeze into that ball a little bit and bring it down slow. If it's hard on your knees, I want you to bring your hips down, and I want you to take the feet and I want you to distance them out just a little further. So maybe if you're cramping in the hamstrings, you can do pretty much all of these exercises laying in bed too. So if you're watching this for the first time, you're not sure about getting up and down off the floor, try laying on your mattress doing this. It's a flat, soft surface. It should work just fine. You might have to move the dog. Let's keep practicing. And again, if you were good here, let's keep it there. You're gonna get a better stretch. Sometimes when people do these, they like to come up and kind of wiggle those shoulder blades under the spine a little bit. Always feel free to fidget every move. Just feel just the right way for you. So feel those hamstrings and glutes working, but spinal muscles working on the way down. Learn how to work your spine. Personally, I really enjoy this stretch on the front of the hip flexors. Now I want you to hold it up at the top, and we're gonna find out how well your hips balance. I'm gonna have you just lift one foot off the floor and try not to let your hip drop. Then put that one down. Now lift the other foot off the floor and try and keep your hips level. So normally when one foot lifts up, your butt would drop down. So practice keeping the hips level, and I want you to alternate the sides. Just enough pressure on that ball that you're holding on tight to it. Weight is on your heel. Breathe out on the lift. Now if you bring your hands out further to the side, it might help you feel a little bit more balanced. Think of your arms like training wheels. But we don't want to be using our arms, we want to use our core. So sneak those hands into your side one, and if you can, make sure your butt's still up there. Sometimes you'll find out it's down here. So get it back up there if it's dropping. Continue marching those knees. So this is just a baby step to some of the other bridges that we'll be doing with a much bigger movement in other videos. Let's do two more. And stop. Now slowly lower it down. Good, I'm gonna have you grab that ball, draw your right knee to the chest,
Pass that ball behind your knee, raise it up. Now let's take that other knee up, pass the ball under your knee, and raise up. Now this move is gonna stretch out your glutes. It's also working your abs. You're gonna keep your back neutral on this one. You gotta squeeze with those fingertips. Try not to think. If that ball's a little too much, set your ball down. You can continue the movement by just touching your hands underneath your knees and then coming back down. So if I don't have that ball, I'm just doing this and up. Usually I'll put my ball on something so it won't roll away. And enjoy that stretch. And stop. Now I'm going to have you take your ball. You're going to lift your hips up, and I want you to put that ball or your pillow right underneath your tailbone, right where your sacrum is. Make sure it feels comfortable. Again, these are your training wheels. If you need a lot of support, we're here. Otherwise, we're here. One at a time. Lift those legs up. Let's stretch the lower back. So we're going to do a different version of a single leg stretch. Having your hips elevated, it's going to change things a little bit. It's going to be easier on the back. Tighten up your belly, tilt your pelvis, and take one leg and extend it out. Now we're just going to go ahead and switch those legs. Drop and switch. Now the further I kick my leg out, the harder it is going to be to keep my belly flat. So if I'm kicking all the way down here, my back is going to arch. So modify, start with a small range of motion, and practice just pushing and pulling those legs. Holding your core tight as you can and as flat as you can. Now we're just going to take this into what's called a bicycle, adding just a little bit more movement from the quads as we extend through the knee. Same thing, I can make it a bigger movement or keep it small. Nice even breathing. Now I'm going to have you bring both knees into the chest. Bring your legs up straight into what we call Pilates stance. You're going to make the letter V with your feet, and you're going to squeeze with those inner thighs and tighten up those glutes. Now I want you to let your knees drop down towards your chest, and then just press back up, zipping up the inner thighs. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, press up. If you want it a little more challenging, you're going to press slightly out. Inhale, exhale, press. Shoulders relaxed. Press. Inhale, exhale, press. And the shaking is normal. If you feel a little shaking, you're on a round ball. If you have that pillow underneath your hips, it'll be a little easier than if you're up on the ball. So you're feeling those inner thighs right about now. They're starting to talk. They're going, oh, okay, I get it. We're working. Let's do two more. Now here's the nice part. We're going to point those toes up, allow those legs to drop to a nice straddle, and then pull them back up together. Open, and extend through the toes, stretch, and pull. Make sure your legs aren't away. They're right above the hips. We don't want them out here. Stretch and pull. Now just cross those ankles just a little bit. Little crisscross. Open, crisscross. Good, and bring your knees back to your chest. And let's rest right there. Take a deep breath in and out. Place your feet down one at a time. Lift those hips up and turn to your side. Okay, we're on our side now for our side leg series. Normally I have you lay down with your head here, legs straight, slightly forward at the hip, and arm out in front. I'm gonna prop up just because that's how I'm comfortable, but normally you'd lay down with your head on your arm. When you're here, you don't want to do this. Don't bend your legs. It's really tempting, and you're gonna hold your abs in tight. So we're gonna start off with just your basic outer thigh lift. We're just gonna have your hand out here. So instead of being here and having pressure and feeling in your neck, you're just gonna rest your head, rest your elbow, and let's lift that leg up, not too high. And you're gonna pull like there's a spring on the ceiling, and you're bringing that from the ceiling toward the floor. So we're gonna inhale, lift, and pull it down. Don't forget to hold those abs in. Pull it down. Lift. You're definitely gonna feel which muscles are working. The outer thigh muscles, they tend to burn pretty quickly. So feel free to rest at any time you feel like resting. And this might be a good time to put that pillow down, put your head on your pillow too. And you wanna feel comfortable and focused on your core, on your breath, and keeping the shoulders relaxed. Let's do just a couple more like this, pull it down. Now we're gonna take it to what's called your front back kick. Now, traditionally you do a front back kick swinging forward and coming back, but it's gonna be hard to do that at first, especially if you've got back issues. So I want you to practice just pulling your knee forward and then bring your leg back out. That's a good starting place. You're gonna have more control, you're gonna have less pain, and you're gonna be less likely to use that back leg. Anytime you have a bent leg versus a straight leg, a movement will be easier. So if you're standing up doing a forward kick or a side leg lift, start with a bent leg. If you're doing a hip extension, start with a bent leg. It's a good way to build strength in the hip, slowly, gradually, and give you something to progress towards. Now, how do I know? What if I don't know and I'm not really sure? Try bringing your knee in and then just give it a kick. Bring it in, bring it back. Now right here, that's where you feel that core react. That arm wants to work really hard, but because I've got that ball, I can tell how much I'm pressing on it. This is especially good if you've got wrist issues. And if you think you can do that traditional front back kick, you're just slightly squeezing behind you. You're not swaying your center. Definitely feeling these muscles now. Now we're gonna go ahead and take this leg. We're just gonna rest it, lining the knee up with the hip and making sure everything in the bottom part, and just resting out in front. Now that bottom leg is gonna lift up. I'm gonna show you how to get a little bit more out of this movement though, without making it a more advanced movement or causing a knee stress on the hips. You're just gonna dig that knee into the ball, and that's gonna fire those obliques. We're gonna exhale on that lift. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, lift. I love this series. It's one of my favorites. Every time you lift that bottom leg, visualize a little string just pulling your belly button to your spine. And again, always being aware of that upper body. Now we're just gonna hold that up and we're just gonna do some little pulses. Let's flex that foot. Keep it here, pulsing. Breathe it out, in through your nose. Let's pulse for 8 more counts. Hold it up and bring it down slowly. Awesome, now we're just gonna take that ball and remove it. And I'm gonna have you bring it up to a sitting position. We're gonna take your top leg, cross it to the bottom leg, and we're just gonna sit tall. If your leg doesn't move this way, you're gonna keep your leg straight and you're gonna cross over, and we're gonna have a little spinal twist. Now we're gonna go back to that 90-90 position. Some people call it a stag. I call it 90-90. We're gonna put one hand on the ground. We're gonna hold that ball, and you're gonna lift up and stretch the hip and come back down. You might need to fidget on your mat. Make sure all hard parts of your body on your mat. Let's do 5 of these. We're gonna come up, stretch, and let's engage the glute of this leg. So you're squeezing
as you're coming up and down. If that's hard on your wrist, try making a fist. I come up with a fist. Or you can just hold your stretch. Lift up. Awesome. Now, before we do the other side, I'm going to have you turn the direction you're going to go, and we're going to practice doing a couple belly scoops or half roll downs. Now, we want our feet hip width apart, our feet flex, and make sure your feet are somewhere where they're not going to slide. So if you're barefoot, just make sure they're at a good solid surface, or take your socks off if they're going to slide. Now, first thing we want to do is practice the belly scoop. So holding onto the back of your knees, you're going to tilt that pelvis, lower the shoulders, and you're going to feel a little bit of pressure here. Holding on just for safety, and then coming up, but just enough that the ball doesn't get loose. And again, come back. Now you can do these without the ball behind your back, and you can just hold on like this and make a letter C shape of your navel's coming under to the base of your spine. Exhale under, shoulders down. Inhale, lift the chest. And again, this is a beginner version. And lift. Remember I talked about the longer the arms are, so if I have my arms up in the air like this is going to be a lot harder than my hands out in front. Now let's come back and add a little rotation to that. So we're just going to scoop, you're going to turn back, touch the floor, come back to that center position and lift. Scoop that belly, rotate, come back in and lift. Scoop, turn. And again, there will be several progressions through the different videos that I'll make of this series, showing you how to make things harder. This is going to be the easiest of the easy. Let's do 3 more. Deep breath. Let me hear that hot breath. And up. Very nice. All right, now let's turn you to your other side. So the reason I take a little break in between is because even if you were trying not to use that bottom leg, you were trying not to bend it, you probably did. We got that hand rested in front, we got everything comfortable, abs are pulled in tight. That top leg comes up and we pull down, and then we float it up, pull, and lift. Exhale, lift. Deep breath in through the nose. You might feel this side a little quicker than you did on the other side. So again, focus on that big exhale. That will help with some of that lactic acid burn. Just a couple more. Breathe it out. Shoulder doing, are we keeping it relaxed? Okay, now we're going to go ahead and start with that bent knee coming in for our front back kick. Knee comes in and kicks back. So I'm just pushing it like slightly behind my other one, but I'm not allowing any sway. I'm tightening my abs before I start any movement. And if I want to make that a little harder, I'm going to add that little kick to it. I'm going to extend it. Knee. Give it a kick, and in, and back. Knee, kick, and in, abs super tight. Let's try it all the way. See if we can go all the way front to back. You're just using the arm just a touch. The stronger your core is getting, the less likely you are to use that arm. Now, I have not mastered that yet. I see some people that make it look effortless. And that's not me. Maybe back in the day. Let's do just one more of those.
And as we bring that leg forward, we rest it on that ball, making sure everything's lined up, heel to toe to hip. Abs are still pulled in tight. Here we go. Bottom leg comes up. Foot is flexed. A lot of people say, should I point my foot or flex it? I like to flex it. I think of a little string pulling that inside of that ankle up, but you don't have to flex your foot if you're more comfortable with your foot pointed. You can. Also, you'll notice I have shoes on. Most of the time when we do Pilates, we don't wear shoes. Exhale on that lift. If you're wearing shoes, it makes it just a little heavier. I got the Skechers on today. These are pretty light. Keep it here. Again, if you've got your head in that comfortable position, your arms slightly out in front, comfortably resting either on a pillow or on your arm. Let's get ready to take it to that pulse right here. Holding those abs in tight as we do little pulses, little lifts up, up. Keep pulsing. Let's hold it up for just a second and then let that leg come down. Bend your legs, use your arm to press up. We're gonna cross over. Again, you can do that straight leg option, and then we'll take it down. Make sure your sits bone is down. Don't be afraid to fidget. Get it just right and hold that stretch. Think of a rope right in the middle of your head, just hoisting you up to the ceiling. Breathe it out. Little breath in, big breath out. All right, let's get in that 90-90 position, stagger stance. And let's raise it up and pull it down. And again, if you feel like you need to scoot back a little bit more, get more of your knees, hard parts, pull it down. Inhale, reach, lengthen, and bring it down. Head follows. And up. Last one. And let's bring it back in. Now I'm gonna have you turn over. We're just gonna place that ball right there between your knees. And we're gonna stretch your lower back with a cat-cow stretch. Crease the arms as forward. Neck is neutral. Rounding that pelvis. And then inhale, lifting the head, lifting the tailbone, and pushing those hands into the ground. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And last one. Now I'm just going to have you sit back and stretch. Take some deep breaths in and out. Slowly bring it up, raising those hands up, then taking those hands behind, bending forward at that hip. Now squeeze your glutes and come up. Now for some reason you can't be on your knees, you can do this in a standing position, coming forward and lifting that air up. You can always give that a try. Point those fingers back, lift the air up. Squeeze the glutes. And last one. Good, now reach one hand down. And up. And stretch. Have a seat facing front. We're going to go over a movement called the saw stretch. So the saw stretch, back your ball. I want to invent a ball that has a little leash on it so you can just pull it back when it gets away. If anyone's got any ideas, you let me know. Our toes are turned up. We feel our sits bones.
Now what I like about doing the soft stretch with the ball, traditionally you're like this and you're unsupported. So if you have lower back or hip stiffness or back issues, it can be kind of hard to do. So you're gonna take the ball, it's gonna keep you up so you can put your body weight on it, and then you can roll it back, and then you're gonna roll the other way. I'm sitting up tall through the center, I'm exhaling as I roll. And as soon as you feel like, you know what, I think I got this, I don't think I need to do that, we're gonna reach the ball, sit to the center, and reach to the other side. That way we're working through the waistline a little bit more. Also, grabbing onto that ball is good for your grip strength. Again, if you need to stay here, what about if you want to hold that stretch for a second? Hold it. If it feels good, just hold that stretch. No rule that says you can't hold your stretches a little bit longer. Actively lifting through that waistline. Let's do one more to each side. You gotta admit that feels kind of good. Let's come back to center. We're gonna fold those legs and just place the ball right here for safekeeping, unless you have a spot that you wanna set it down. We're gonna place the hands to the side and then arms gonna come up and over. We're gonna push the hip down just a little bit, gazing upward, relaxing this shoulder, letting that arm bend, and come slightly forward. Then we'll lift through those fingertips up and over to the other side, pushing the hip bone down as we bend this arm. Look up, and just increase the stretch. Keep pushing that hip down as you reach forward. One of my favorite stretches right here. This gets me right where I hurt the hips. Up and behind with that hand. We're gonna open up that chest. And as you look down, press your knuckles towards the floor. Inhale, look up. And bring it down. Now go ahead and just take those hands, bring them around to the front, and let's belly scoop, pushing those hands in, and then inhaling, sitting tall. Exhale, press. And again, up. Now raise your hands up, place them right behind your head, and gently turn to one side, and then the other. Again, one more time, and release hands to the side. We're just gonna roll the shoulders back, and now just taking your hands, resting them right here on your legs, tilt the head, keeping your chest lifted, take that head and nod up and down just a few times. Saying, yes, Dawn, I'm so glad I did this beginner one with you. So now I understand Pilates and how to start off safely. I'm not gonna let anything stop me. Let's do the other side. I'm gonna do this a couple times a week and get strong. And remember, we've got other videos coming. So if you hit subscribe, hit that bell, you'll make sure to get a notification as soon as those videos are released. Bring the head to center. And chin down one more time. And lift that head up. And thanks so much for joining me. We'll see you soon.